Hello, my dears. Today we are going to talk about how to choose jewelry for different dress codes. Let us imagine that we are going somewhere in a green outfit because I truly love green. We will use it as one clear example so that after this video you will have very few questions left, ideally none at all, about how to combine different pieces of jewelry for each dress code. I am asked this question very often. Even when I teach master classes on combining jewelry, many people still find it difficult to understand. So I decided that our style channel absolutely needed a detailed video on this subject. Let us walk through it together, my dears. Let us imagine that you are fortunate enough to be invited to an event with a white tie dress code. White tie is the highest and most formal level. It may be required for an occasion such as the Nobel Prize ceremony or a royal ball. So what does a woman need to know when choosing jewelry for an event of this level? Let us say you will be wearing a green evening gown. What should you consider first? The sleeve length. If the sleeves are short or the dress is sleeveless, you will need long evening gloves. You cannot wear rings over those gloves, although you may wear a bracelet. Your shoulders must be covered for white tie, although the neckline may be open and elegant, just not excessively low, and your hair should normally be styled in a formal updo. The only exception would be a very short, elegant haircut, like the one Princess Diana often wore, because there would simply be no hair to put up. But even with hair about the length mine is now, I would still need to arrange it in a polished, elegant updo. If I appeared at a white tie event with my curls loose, even beautifully styled, I would probably look a little too informal and tousled for the occasion. So the hairstyle matters too. Now imagine a long green evening gown. White tie always calls for a floor-length dress, usually long enough to cover elegant heeled shoes. The dress has short sleeves or no sleeves, so long gloves are required. Which jewelry pieces should we choose for that outfit? Let us think it through. First, you should understand that jewelry can be divided rather simply into three broad groups. The first group is fine jewelry, the row closest to me. The row farthest away is elegant, high quality costume jewelry suitable for a lady, but still costume jewelry. The stones are not precious. They may be high grade cubic zirconia, preferably excellent quality, and the metal does not need to be precious. It may be a well-made alloy with good gold plating that will not irritate the skin. The third and most mysterious group, my personal favorite, is jewelry made with natural minerals. These pieces may be healing, meditative, and used for working with energy. Some mineral pieces can reach the level of fine jewelry when the stones are beautifully cut and set in gold or silver. But because mineral jewelry is often large and expressive, it is usually classified separately as jewelry made with natural stones. A knowledgeable stylist treats it as its own category because it has a completely different character and, in a way, its own magic. Such jewelry is often worn to support energy and may even be used in psychological practices. In transpersonal psychology, for example, lithotherapy may be considered. So this is no longer only decoration. It can become a strong form of interaction with nature. That is why mineral jewelry has its own etiquette and its own relationship to dress codes. But for white tie, we choose only fine jewelry. That means precious metals and genuinely precious stones. emeralds, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and stones of that level. People often ask me, what if costume jewelry is so beautifully made that no one except a jeweler could tell the difference? There are special instruments that can test stones and metals. I am not a jeweler. I am a stylist, so I cannot explain every technical method. After many years of working with jewelry, I can usually recognize what I am looking at, but I agree that an excellent imitation can sometimes be very difficult to identify by sight alone. There is a wonderful story about a woman of modest means who wanted to attend a very elegant society event. She went to a wealthier friend and asked to borrow some jewelry for the evening. Her friend opened her jewelry box and told her to choose anything she liked. The woman selected what she believed was a magnificent diamond necklace and wore it to the formal dinner. During the evening, the necklace was lost or perhaps stolen. Because she and her husband were honorable people, they went to a jeweler, ordered what they believed was an identical necklace, paid an enormous amount of money for it, and returned it to the friend without saying anything. Years later, the two women met again. When the friend asked how she had been living, the woman admitted that they had spent years paying for the replacement necklace. Her friend was horrified and said, "Why didn't you tell me? The original necklace was only an imitation." So, yes, a skilled jeweler can create a very convincing imitation using excellent gold plating and high quality cubic zirconia. It may look almost identical to fine jewelry, but when people ask me, can I wear costume jewelry if no one will know it is not real? My answer is that I would not recommend it for white tie. If life has brought you to a white tie event, do not treat that opportunity carelessly or diminish such a special gift. Your jewelry may be very small and very refined, but let it be something you yourself regard as precious. Then, at that event, you will also feel precious. White tie represents the highest level of formal dress, and your inner attitude should match the occasion. Very few people are invited to events of this level. If destiny has placed you there, choose fine jewelry rather than costume jewelry. Energetically, it reflects your respect for yourself. In this situation, we do not even consider the other two jewelry groups. For white tie, we look only at precious metals and precious stones. Now the question is, which of those pieces should we wear with our green gown? Let us remember the outfit. The gown is green and made from an expensive evening fabric, velvet, silk, fine chiffon, or luxurious brocade from natural fibers. It is sleeveless or has short sleeves. The shoulders are covered. The neckline is open but elegant, and long gloves are required. Since we cannot wear rings over the gloves, we ignore rings for this look and may consider a bracelet instead. What could we choose? With a green gown, a refined set with emeralds and diamonds, or even emeralds alone, would be very appropriate. Nothing needs to be oversized. You might choose small earrings and, if you have a coordinated set, a delicate pendant that can still serve as a subtle focal point. If the shoulders are covered and the dress already has decoration around the neckline, even less jewelry is needed. Small earrings and one delicate but distinctive pendant may be completely sufficient. With the hair styled up, those two pieces will look polished, elegant, and entirely appropriate for white tie. Let us look at a practical example. Since we are wearing gloves, We forget about the ring and begin with the earrings. I will need to put on my glasses. I see the camera better without them, but I cannot examine such delicate jewelry closely, so I will be taking them on and off as we walk. I also have a display bust for showing necklaces and other pieces, but these earrings use a clasp that will not attach to it. So I use this little jewelry hanger instead. If you work with jewelry or teach master classes, something like this is very convenient. Look, tiny earrings on their own little hanger. Here we have emerald earrings framed with other precious stones. They look delicate, elegant, and appropriate both for a mature lady and for a younger woman attending such an event. And here is the matching pendant. The chain is very fine because the pendant itself is the focus. When you buy a beautiful precious stone pendant, it is often sold on a very thin chain so that the stone seems to float and sparkle in the open neckline. Together, these earrings and this pendant create a set of two pieces that feels both modern and timeless. You would look polished and perfectly appropriate. This is an excellent option when the white tie gown has short sleeves, long gloves, and some decoration around the neckline, perhaps lace, but still leaves enough open space for a small pendant. See how elegant and beautiful this combination can be. You could add a bracelet over the glove, but I would usually advise against it because the look may become excessive. It can begin to suggest that you are trying too hard to display your jewelry. Of course, there are exceptions. In photographs of Queen Elizabeth, you may see a tiara and bracelets worn over both gloves because certain royal occasions required that kind of ceremony. At other events, she wore very little jewelry. Everything depended on the exact nature of the occasion. Her famous meeting with Marilyn Monroe was also a white tie occasion. The neckline was open, the shoulders were covered with sleeves, and she wore long gloves. The entire look was exceptionally elegant, drawn from the best examples. Queen Elizabeth almost never made a mistake with these details. She did not really need to guess. She understood them instinctively. Her jewelry always suited both the event and the gown. Sometimes white tie called for more ceremonial jewelry, and sometimes the most elegant choice was something restrained with nothing unnecessary. Now imagine a second version. The gown has long sleeves, and gloves are not required, so you may wear a ring. We can use the same emerald set and add the matching ring. Here are the earrings, the pendant, and the ring together. Do we also need a bracelet? No. It would disappear under the long sleeve and would only add unnecessary excess. Even within white tie, there can be variations, but the principle remains the same. Every piece must have a purpose. People also ask how many rings are appropriate. I will make separate videos about jewelry etiquette and dress codes, and if they are already available when you watch this, I will include the links. For now, remember that more than two rings is generally inappropriate. Three may be acceptable only when one is a small wedding ring that tradition requires you never to remove. Otherwise, one significant ring is often enough. You do not need more, especially at an event like white tie. People should notice you, not only your jewelry. The jewelry must not compete with your gown, and it certainly must not compete with you. Guests should remember the woman, not just the stones she was wearing. Jewelry should illuminate you gently. With a green gown, emeralds are an ideal choice. With blue, you might choose sapphires. with red, perhaps rubies. But are emeralds required with a green-white tie gown? No, not at all. You may choose another approach. Suppose the neckline is not heavily decorated and there is room for a necklace worn directly against the skin. You might select an elegant necklace in yellow gold. The gown has long gloves. The shoulders are covered and the neckline itself is relatively simple. In that case, the necklace can become the central piece. Let us place the necklace on our display. Because you are wearing long gloves and cannot wear a ring, you may pair the necklace with a bracelet worn over the glove. The bracelet does not need to come from the same set. This one coordinates beautifully even though I selected it separately. Together, they look intentional, almost as though they were designed as a set. Today, personally assembled combinations are often appreciated even more than ready-made matching sets. A delicate emerald set can certainly be lovely, but when a woman selects pieces herself, it shows taste, thought, and creativity. Since this outfit includes long gloves, a carefully chosen bracelet is entirely appropriate. Should you wear bracelets on both gloves? I would not recommend it. Do not draw too much attention away from yourself. With this larger necklace and one bracelet, what earrings should you choose? Since the necklace is already the focal point, small stud earrings in a coordinating gold tone would be perfect. Look at these small earrings. Even with the hair styled up, they will sparkle beautifully whenever you turn your head. The larger necklace remains the main accent, while the bracelet on the glove supports it. The result is refined and noble. One more detail. Our display lady is wearing a fascinator. For white tie, you would not wear this kind of small hat. The most you might wear is a tiara or, if appropriate to your position, a crown. Traditionally, a tiara may be worn at white tie by a woman who is engaged or married. The fascinator is simply attached to this display, so I left it in place. Another white tie option is to wear large statement earrings and nothing at the neckline. If you are not wearing gloves, add one ring. If you are wearing gloves, choose one bracelet instead. Be careful with brooches. A dramatic neckline, a pendant, and a brooch all placed close together would look crowded and would be considered poor taste. But if your hair is styled in a beautiful updo and the gown is already refined and decorated, you may leave the neckline completely bare and wear precious statement earrings instead. Let me show you the kind I mean. We will place them on the hanger and see how they look together with a bracelet. Look, my dears, with long gloves and a neckline that is already beautifully finished by the gown itself, these statement earrings and one elegant bracelet worn over the glove are completely sufficient, especially with a formal outdo. If the gown has long sleeves and no gloves are required, do not automatically choose a very dramatic ring. With a green dress, for example, one delicate and original ring may be enough. Here is one example. It contains precious stones, enamel, and several colors of precious metal. It is delicate, but still unusual and distinctive, more than enough for this look. If you want something slightly stronger, you may choose another elegant ring, as long as it coordinates with the earrings. Or keep the ring small and refined if you do not want the hands to become the main focus. Here is a simple option, but if you decide to make the ring the main accent, then return to the small stud earrings we showed earlier. Why? Because white tie should never make you resemble a Christmas tree. One strong focal point is enough. For a brighter statement ring, you may choose one naturally dramatic design, or you can use ring enhancers. If you still do not know what ring enhancers are, you are missing a wonderful styling tool. Ring enhancers are like a construction set for grown-up girls. As a child, I loved Lego and all kinds of building sets, and that joy returned when I discovered ring enhancers. They let you create whole new designs from the rings you already own. We will take the same ring that worked with the large earrings and transform it into a ring that suits the smaller earrings. Now the attention moves towards the hands, and the ring becomes the focal point. Look at what I have done. I placed the original ring inside an enhancer. It looks wonderful. The same ring has now become a dramatic statement piece. With a ring like this, large earrings are unnecessary. Otherwise, people will not know whether to look at your ears or your hands. And where will you be in all of that? Emphasize only what you truly want to emphasize. This combination is completely sufficient. The ring will catch the light and attract attention, while the small earrings will sparkle gently whenever you turn your head. The ring remains the main accent, and you still look refined rather than overloaded. These are the essential principles for choosing jewelry for white tie. Our episodes dedicated to style and fashion come out on Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time.